What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. We got another one. MAGA loves to hate black people. Hey, it's gonna be a hard argument to prove that wrong. Let's get into it. Hit the sub button if you like what I'm putting down, man.
The institution of slavery is not inherently evil.
No, it definitely is.
With black people.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Which is why racists exist, because in order to be racist, you need to wake up every day and just continuously think about why you don't like a person or a group of people based on the color of their skin.
It is not inherently evil to own another human being.
Black people want to be left alone.
Whoa. We got to stop him right off the rip. It is inherently evil to own another human being. How is it not? How is it not evil to own another human being, dog? Is this dude is trying to rage bait right now? Because if my black ass said I want to own some white people, boy, it'd be an uproar.
They don't want revenge. They don't want to replace us, as some extremist groups have said.
The great replacement theory.
In peace.
Between the racist text messages that keep leaking from MAGA and the Republican Party,
one of the messages referred to black people as monkeys and watermelon people,
to right-wing podcasters trying to justify slavery and being touted as national heroes, even though their content purposely demeaned and demonized the black community.
It just shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
If that's your explanation.
It's very clear at this point that conservatives have a weird obsession, not only with the black community, but with trying to find some way to rewind the clock to make us subservient to them. There's no doubt about it. That's what they mean when they say make America great again. But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
Wait, am I
People are
sub?
obsessed with black people, which is why racists exist. Because in order to be racist, you need to wake up every day and just continuously think about why you don't like a person or a group of people based on the color of their skin. In response to my video about the young Republican group chat in which they joked about racism, anti-Semitism, gas chambers, I got several responses like this saying, you're acting like black people don't talk about white people the same way we talk about you in your group chats. Black people do not think about white people at all.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell y'all some real shit. Tell me all the racist white jokes you know. Jokes that are really offensive to white people without using the internet to go and find them. We don't create racist white jokes, but they create racist black jokes. I can think of like 10 off the top of my head right now. Y'all want to hear one? A white boy said this on the internet. It was in the comment section. The boy said, saw a black guy riding a bike the other day. For a second, I thought it was mine. Then I checked the garage. He was still chained up. Nigga, like, bro, we don't sit around and make up shit like that about them, dog. It's crazy to me.
Like, and I know that's probably hard for you guys to comprehend because you think about us so much. Our lives do not revolve around what white people are doing, what white people are saying. We do not talk about you guys when you're not in the room. We don't talk about you even when you are in the room unless you do something. Half of the commentary you see from black people, including myself, that is online, comes in response to you guys doing or saying some crazy shit. And in reality, the only thing that black people want is to be left alone by white people. But you guys won't leave us alone because you think about us all the time. And if you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe someone who looks like you.
Black people want to be left alone. They don't want revenge. They don't want to replace us, as some extremist groups have said. They just want to live life in peace, the way they want to live. They want family, they want love, and they want to live in a society where they know they belong here. They want society to also know that they belong here.
That's not culturally a thing that we do, but apparently it's something you do, so you think that we're sitting around pondering about what you're doing. This goes back to why white women think that they're the managers of the world, so they can come question black people and what they're doing. You can stalk us outside. You can have all these thinks and thought pieces about how we exist. And it's like, I've never really understood it, but it's because you guys are infatuated with the idea of, one, us being free citizens to think, vote, have jobs, and make money. Two, we're not subjugated by you literally like we used to be. Three, it's like a weird obsession where you want to be liked by us and you want us to think that you're cool. And four, a combination of all the above. But sorry, to answer your question, no, we do not have group chats where we sit around talking about white people.
Hey, he ain't lying, bro. I've never been a part of a group chat that sit up there and talk about the disdain and hatred we have towards any group of people, bro. We just don't do that, you know. But man, oh man, have we seen y'all's group chats? Yeah. We're going to start with Martin Luther King. That's a hell of a holiday. We're going to get rid of Kwanzaa, right? I have Nazi streaks. You can't even say that word, but I'm just saying, like, it's crazy. Then they try to spin that like that's kids. When are 30-plus-year-old people considered kids, man? Tripping.
I hope that helps you on this beautiful Sunday. Stay blessed.
It's hard for anybody to argue that there is not some weird obsession with the black community. And all of the racist group chats that have leaked from the Young Republicans
Just referred to black people as monkeys and watermelon people.
to Paul and Gracia, it is clear that we are living rent-free in these people's heads for some reason. It seems like they're constantly trying to find a way to put us in our place or down our history and our heroes.
But I can say declaratively, this guy is not worthy of a national holiday. He is not worthy of godlike status. In fact, I think it's really harmful.
And it's even to the point that they've used black people to create some imaginary boogeyman that's trying to find a way to get back at white people and take the country over.
Mr. President, I implore you, call for a civil war and let us do our thing. Let us go door to door, street by street, and clean this country.
Which is why you have marches.
You know what's interesting about this guy? This guy right here probably would have to drive miles and miles and miles and miles away from where he lives in his tight little white knit community to go where black people actually are. Because I promise you, he don't work with us. He probably doesn't live around us. Most likely he didn't go to school with us. We know he ain't play no football or basketball with us, because usually them white dudes be cool as hell. This dude is talking about leaving out his safe community where the crime rate is usually low, if you're not talking about the nasty stuff, dealing with children and things of that nature. But other than that, like the violent crimes, it's not happening where he lives. And I don't see why they always thinking about us.
Do our thing. Let us go door to door, street by street, and clean this country.
Which is why
Boy,
you have
you's a
marches
bitch.
like this.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
I started looking into the
Wait,
topic.
hold up. Did I just see a black man in this crowd?
Let us go door to door, street by street, and clean this country.
Which is why you have marches like this.
White man!
Right here, right here. Is that just a really tan white man? Boy, if you is a black guy and you are in this crowd screaming and chanting that shit, you are too far gone. You are beyond saving.
Fight back! White man, fight back!
I started looking into the topic a little bit more. For many, it's not genuine fixation on black people as individuals, but rather a set of harmful behaviors and beliefs, including cultural appropriation, fetishization of black bodies, and the desire to control or exploit culture. Whitewashing culture. In music genres like rock and roll, hip hop, white artists have often borrowed heavily from black artists and received more recognition and profit. You can especially say that with rock and roll.
Gonna tell Aunt Mary Barnaga John.
He says he has the blues, but he has a lot of fun, oh baby.
In the 1950s, a white record producer named Sam Phillips was working on rock and roll music from black musicians across Memphis. He realized that if he could get a white person to sing this style of music, he'd be a billionaire. He tested this theory with a singer named Elvis Presley, who was an instant success.
It's 1956, and Elvis Presley just made over $1 million from a song called Hound Dog. The world is calling him the king of rock and roll.
He stole his whole swag, bro.
Big Mama Thornton wrote and first recorded that song. Dominated the R&B charts for 14 straight weeks. Her payment, $500 total.
Hey, bro, Elvis was a thief that liked underage girls. That's what he was. God damn.
She never saw another dime, while Elvis built an empire on her work.
Soon, more and more white musicians were promoted, and the black musicians who pioneered the music were left behind.
Teams of scouts monitored black radio stations around the clock, armed with recording equipment and direct phone lines to A&R departments. The moment a black artist started climbing the R&B charts, these vultures would swoop in. Label immediately calls their stable of clean-cut white artists. Rush released the sanitized version and flood white radio stations, while the original gets buried in segregated markets.
It was one of...
Bro, I just want to ask y'all a quick question, dog. If it wasn't for black people, what would America actually have, dog? You got ahead because you had free labor. All of the entertainment we made popular, like rap, made people billions of dollars. The actual rappers didn't make billions. Country made people billions of dollars. Blues, jazz, billions of dollars. We make things cool. We earn money by just putting on other people's clothing, and that make everybody else in the world want to go out there and buy it. Man, they got people in China and Japan who want to act and look and talk and walk just like black people, bro. Like, we are so influential as people, dog. Without us, man, I'm going to call a spade, goddammit. The world would be boring if black people just disappeared out the blue. Poof. What would you have after that?
Music's greatest ever injustices.
Adopting trends without acknowledging roots. We saw that recently. I guess the big one recently was the Renegade dance that Charli D'Amelio stole from another girl and ended up being the most famous person on TikTok.
One of the most popular people on the platform, a girl named Charli D'Amelio, who has nearly 30 million followers, is widely credited for starting the dance, but it was revealed this week that it was actually created by someone else. Jalea Harmon, a 14-year-old girl from Atlanta, is the one who choreographed the dance in her living room and posted it to TikTok. But as bigger pages posted their own versions and got all of this attention and fame, her video only had 13,000 views.
On TikTok
specifically, most of the popular dances, like the Renegade, have come from young black creators on smaller apps. Popular teens on TikTok see these dances when they're already gaining traction underground, bring it to their audience, and make it mainstream while taking all the credit. And these white influencers continued to make money and get opportunities off of choreography they had no part in creating.
Same exact story, different generation. Black artists have been getting robbed of their earnings and legacy for over 75 years. Roots in slavery, where labor and our bodies were exploited through assault, perpetuate stereotypes. Today, this manifests as racial fetishism and dating, where black people may be pursued based on racist stereotypes rather than as complex individuals. What was the scary movie? The Sunken Place. You know, she was just pursuing black guys because they wanted to kidnap them for their talents or physical attributes and replace them. Get Out, thank you. White savior complex, which is interesting. You know, anytime you hear stuff like that, you know all the white savior movies that came out about troubled kids in high school living in the hood, and then a white teacher comes in and saves them and makes the whole school better. Sunset Park, Dangerous Minds, you know, the white savior movies. The narrative of white savior reinforces the racist idea that people of color are helpless and depend on white people for their well-being. I always wonder, have any of these racists that's always spouting nonsense online ever even interacted with a black person before? Or do they just have the impression of who black people are based on what they've seen on TV or the internet? So to
bro, hey dog, listen. He brings up a good point, and I'm about to bring his point home by inserting a video that I saw recently on Instagram. Once I find it, I will put it up, dog.
So funny meeting actual racists in a small town because, like, it doesn't make any sense. Because, like, bro, those groups you hate, none of them's here. You've never met one. I know a guy one time, he said, I don't trust black people. I said, name one. And he went, Obama? Dudes around here be talking like, Jews run the world. I'm like, I know they don't run our town of 1,300 people. Your uncle does. That's how you keep getting out of them DUIs. Like, bro, my town was tied in 2008 for the whitest county in the nation. We are 99% white. If the local Mexican restaurant closes down, that goes back up to 100. Like, the last time any of us saw an Asian, a black person, and a native in the same spot, it was on the cover of a 4th grade social studies textbook. Like, I've never met a black person. They seem cool. You're like, we gotta get rid of them immigrants. I'm like, bro, do you know how hard it is for me to find a white person that's not on drugs to do any work at all? I know 2 guys, and both of them's on disability, so I gotta pay them under the table. It's a whole big to-do. I hear people around here like, them immigrants are taking our jobs. I'm like, you've never had a job. You've never wanted a job. I've known you my whole life, Johnny. Your parents put you up to jumping off the monkey bars when we were in 3rd grade and faking a back injury to get perks. You've been on disability ever since. No one in your whole family's had a job, ever. Nobody taking your job. It's so funny meeting actual...
I would suspect that this is at least 60 to 70% of racist white people. They are the people he just described. If you hate niggas because you've had bad encounters with us, man, you entitled to your own opinion. But, bro, half of y'all ain't never met one of us in real life. People live in the middle of nowhere, America, talking about they hate niggas.
them, all black people are criminals because that's what they saw on Cops growing up. Or for the younger generation, they saw fights on World Star, so that's what they know black people for. But they're completely unaware of any of the good stuff, of hardworking, dedicated parents that raised their kids right, put them through college, trade school, the military, and they go on to be successful or raise a family. Or all of the young people in higher education that get bachelor's degrees, masters, doctorates, and go on to build wealth for themselves while actually helping their community. Media portrayals and stereotypes. Media representations have historically influenced how white audiences perceive black people. For much of American history, media either ignored black people or portrayed them through demeaning stereotypes. Lack of contact. When people lack real-life exposure to different racial groups, they often rely on media stereotypes to form their opinions. Historically, this has led to white audiences developing bad ideas and fears about black people, reinforcing negative ideas. When black people are consistently portrayed as unintelligent, criminal, or hypersexual, it reinforces racist fears and negative perceptions among white viewers. And this type of portrayal goes all the way back to 1915. The Birth of a Nation is widely identified as one of the most infamously racist films ever made and a powerful work of white supremacist propaganda. So from the very start, there was a concerted effort to make black people look like detestable criminals. And unfortunately, we've never been able to shake that narrative. Which is why, to me, people like Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Fresh and Fit, and all the other black conservatives with huge platforms are such a problem because they reinforce these negative stereotypes 9 times out of 10 without even being associated with the black community. They don't.
Hey, bro, real talk. That shit is so bad, bro. When you sit up there and talk shit about your own group of people, you are literally giving other people permission to say the same damn thing because they feel like, oh, he said it, well, I can say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad, bro. You reinforcing it because all of us don't fit in that same box. Like, man, they got degenerates in all races, man. But it seems like black people are the only ones who get judged by the few and not the many. You get what I'm saying? We're all criminals, dumb, lazy, come from single mother households and all of that kind of shit. When that is not the case, you know, they got black geniuses. They got black hardworking men, business owners, black people that take care of their entire family and then some, leaders in the community. I mean, come on, man.
Don't know what's for real, or for the black conservatives, they're grifting, but they base their entire platforms and everything they say on making the black community look bad, which to their viewers just reinforces the negative stereotypes. And then they carry that negative image of us with them, which makes sense why it seems like white conservatives are obsessively talking about the black community on social media, which kind of puts this weird obsession that they have about the black community in context. We as people, unlike other cultures, have not gravitated toward whiteness. We've always done our own thing, created our own music, our own art, developed our own styles and slang, which America as a whole has appropriated over and over and over again. Yep. And whether they know it or not, there's probably some curiosity, confusion, and even jealousy about how black people have gone through so much, been put down so many times, but have continued to be resilient and content in our own communities without needing outside input, which is also most likely why they put so much effort into bringing us down. Because white supremacy only works if people of color are subservient to them. Christian national podcaster Joshua Hames says Christians must be willing to defend the institution of slavery because the Bible makes it clear it is not inherently evil to own another human being. I think it's insane that we are talking about slavery in big 2025, but it's come up a lot. And going back to the young Republicans' text messages.
Why do they keep calling us racist?
The group chat members spoke.
Cause your stupid looking ass is racist, boy. That's why. Talking about is not inherently evil to own people. And they always like to say dumb shit like, well, you know, the Africans sold slaves to the colonizers and all of that kind of stuff. Slavery as it existed in Africa was nowhere near the same as slavery in America. In Africa, you could earn your freedom. You weren't whipped, beaten. Your kids weren't stripped away from you. You didn't get buck broken. You didn't get fed slop. You didn't get born into it. If your children were born, they weren't automatically slaves. It was different. And slavery was based on the color of your skin in America. Yeah, black people were slaves. 3/5 of a man. It was written into the law. It was institutional. It was systematic. Come on now, it's totally different. Right? You can insure a slave. If that motherfucker died, you got your money back. You know, it wasn't illegal to KILL, unalive a slave, because we weren't considered people. We were considered livestock, basically. Come on, man, it's totally different. They try to use that old tired ass argument. Yeah, man, they had slaves everywhere. Everybody was slaves. Shit, not like in America, boy. This shit was barbaric, crazy.
Freely about the love of not. I love leaked messages exposed.
One talked about sending political opponents to gas chambers to, quote, watch people burn now.
Text messages that were leaked from this Republican group chat are filled with racism and anti-Semitism. In other news, water is wet.
And one of the things I was really interested about that text message thread, they said they supported other Republicans who supported slavery. And I'm just like, are people really still thinking about slavery and enslaving black people? Is that what Make America Great Again's plan is? I just really don't understand the hatred and vitriol. Y'all were the ones that kidnapped our ancestors and enslaved them. We're not out here saying we hate white people or making podcasts about them. Like that clip said, we just want to be left alone to do our own thing. Why are we everybody else's content? And that even goes to Charlie Kirk, right? Most of his content and most of his viral clips were about the black community. That's the same thing with these corny ass black conservatives. Most of their content is downing the black community.
Oh, this is the worst type of Negro right here, man. I don't even... This the type of dude right here you disown if you related to him, bro. He can't come to none of the family functions.
People don't have content on their own, or they don't have principles on their own without downing and talking about black people in the black community. And that's just one thing I hate.
The institution of slavery is not inherently evil. I know. Some of you guys are upset by that. Some of you guys are saying, I've been saying that for years. Okay, I'll take it a step further. It is not inherently evil to own another human being. I know, just wait. Some of you guys are really upset, but...
So if we owned you, it would be okay? You would be perfectly fine with that. Yeah, come on over here, boy. Pick that cotton. Oh yeah, and when you have some white children, I'm gonna own them too. Hey bro, that's not evil. That's not evil. Crazy as hell.
Let's talk through this, because it is very important that every Christian affirm what I just said. And not only should they affirm it, every Christian in today's society should be able to defend what I just said, okay? Every Christian should be able to defend it. Big evangelicalism has been getting this wrong for years, basically since the Genesis, since the advent of Big Eva. They haven't had a good answer for the slavery issue.
Yeah, bro, I feel like he's the type of guy, if we was to go through his history on the internet, man, he probably got some stuff dealing with kids on there probably, bro. It's always, they've been dropping like flies lately, dog. All of these child predators are being exposed, and these are people with high ranking positions in society. We talking about judges, we're talking about superintendents, we're talking about lieutenant sergeants, we're talking about people in high places, man. Yeah, bro, they dropping like flies, dog.
Right? Christians in America have been led astray on this topic. They've been led to believe things that the Bible doesn't teach. And when we go beyond the Bible, there are dire consequences.
I don't know what's crazier, that they're still trying to come up with justifications for slavery in 2025, or that this guy feels that comfortable and that safe to have that conversation on a public podcast, knowing that in today's society, he won't face any repercussions or consequences. You can just be as racist as you want nowadays, and 9 times out of 10, you'll build an audience and get rich from it. And I'm so serious when I say they don't have any content or virality if it's not about us. I think these dudes just want to cause controversy to get noticed by other bigots. I agree 100%. But
yeah, what viral clips do you see of them that don't have something to do with us? You hardly see any viral clips of them. They ain't going viral for saying stuff that's revolutionary. They're going viral for saying stuff like Myron Gaines done as just said the other day. They was like, would you rather date a black woman or a fat woman? He was like, I'll take the fat woman, because 9 times out of 10, if I date a black woman, she's gonna be fat anyway. They're looking for viral moments, bro, to feed off of and have clout off of the low IQ audience. Because, dog, to be extremely racist, you have to be stupid. For you to think just based off somebody's skin, that's the end all be all, just because their skin is a certain pigment, you're stupid.
One thing historically has always been true, and that is religion has been used to subjugate people. Never believe what white people say about the Bible. Exodus 21:16. Whoever steals a man and sells him, and anyone found in possession of him shall be put to death. And steal, of course, would mean kidnapped or taken, which then I also looked up. Is a law from the Old Testament that mandates death penalty for anyone who kidnaps and sells a person, or for anyone found in possession of a kidnapped person. I have my own problem.
Well, if they really believe in the Bible, that would come back to bite them on the ass right there, bruh. That one little thing right there. Cause we know George Washington had some slaves. And he didn't take them willingly. They didn't just say, man, you know what? Make me your slave. I want this. They were stolen.
With Christianity, even though I do identify as a Christian, one of my biggest issues is really how Christianity was forced on us during slavery. Now, if somebody made him leap from the neck, we'd be told it's wrong to be happy about his death because he was a Christian. You know, that was the big defense for Charlie Kirk. Oh, but he's a Christian and he's a family man. Well, the same people that they're talking about enslaving and talking about us like we're not humans are family men and are Christians and have faith. But it doesn't matter to them because they don't see us as humans. At least these racist people. I'm not talking about all white people, but people like this that want to go back to a time where black people were under them is just the craziest thing to me. When in fact, like both of those guys said in the video, all black people focus on is ourselves, our family, and our community. We're trying to progress in our own ways, lives, careers, raise our kids correct in a world that's becoming even more difficult to be a person of color. We're trying to get security, build wealth, and gain knowledge to pass down to the generations underneath us. We just are not thinking about white people at all. I'm sick of some people using Christianity as a reason to be bigots. I think that is just the weirdest thing in 2025.
It really is,
want to
bro.
be a bigot. Two, to use the Bible to justify it. Christian nationalism is just white supremacy with scripture citations. The same way that the MAGA hat to me is the Confederate flag. It's literally just the next iteration of the Confederate flag. And we all know what the Confederate flag means when we see it. It means those are people that were pro-slavery. And if they had their way, we would have to step sideways and bow our heads when white people walk past on the sidewalks. He does look like a cartoon villain. 100%. Christian podcaster Joshua Hayes just says slavery is biblically acceptable. This isn't crazy talk, it's conditioning. They're normalizing the language of bondage just like they did with anti-trans hate with mass deportations. Normalizing slavery isn't next, it's now.
I need you to watch this clip. I need you to open your eyes and think about what exactly it is they're doing.
The institution of slavery is not inherently evil. It is not inherently evil to own another human being.
Normalizing the concept that slavery should be reinstituted. And I know you don't understand that. I know, but consider the fact that the demonization of trans people and the media started in the corners of the internet without warning, without cause, and America embraced it, accepted it. Consider the fact that the normalization of family separations, of mass deportations of American citizens themselves being detained, having no due process, no rights, started again in January in America. Also wholeheartedly embraced it, accepted. Slavery is not next, it is now. It started, and they are coming to put you back in your black job.
I definitely can understand what he's saying about the normalization of an extreme topic, because that's how hatred starts, right? That's how it started in Germany. They didn't just start shipping people off to concentration camps. They started by propaganda, by making Jews look bad and demonizing them. And then before you know it, they stopped letting people shop in their stores. Then they started moving them away from their houses. Then they put them in ghettos. Then they started shipping them off. So it was a progression of hatred that made the Holocaust possible. This is Pete Hegseth, pastor defending slavery, and nobody is surprised. This goes back to the Young Republican text. There are people like in the Young Republican text that are bigots and racists that have positions in the federal government, that are heads of agencies, or that have connections to people with known racial agendas. And if those are people making policies and controlling funding, of course their biases will come into play when it comes to enacting policies, which would benefit white people or conservative groups and hurt liberals or people of color. That is the definition of systematic racism. At this point, it's just impossible to hide what MAGA is and what their intentions really are. And
hey, bro, look, let me tell y'all something, man. I want to read a DM from a white person that I used to work with. I sent them the list of the text messages that the GOP was leaked, right? And this is what they had to respond with. I've heard, well, this girl here is actually half black, half white. Her dad is white. She's married to a white man now. I've heard worse things said in an all black room about others, and so what, people joke and are foul in the comfort of their friend family groups. Why be hypocritical? Seriously, I'm not into the petty. Y'all have to let this go and focus on real important things. How is it not important that people who have influence and power, who are senators, they're in the political realm, how is this not a big deal if they're saying it? If this was regular old redneck from the middle of nowhere with no power or influence saying this on Twitter, then yeah, that's one thing. But these are important people. It's the GOP moving the goalpost. I'm telling you, bro, they cannot accept the fact that they don't give a shit about black people, bro. But they do at the same time, because we can't be off of their minds ever.
It's not us speculating anymore. They're saying it themselves in their own words. They're obsessed with black people because they feel threatened by us. Because we have continued to persevere in a society that has tried to oppress us for generations. And now so many of us are waking up and speaking out to wake other people up. Thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff. And I'll catch you next time.
Oh, that's how you do it, Jew. Thanks for teaching me something. Hey, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go and watch these videos too right here. For real, man. I'm going to get at y'all on the next one. Hit that sub button if you like what I'm putting down, man.